A woman spills coffee on a stranger. They laugh about it. A man reaches for a book and so does she at the same moment. You've seen all of this, probably 100 times, and you probably felt nothing. The meet cute is probably one of the most repeated conventions in romantic storytelling.
It's how two characters meet in a movie.
And most of them fall completely short while others become iconic. And today we're talking about the 4 biggest reasons behind that, starting with the plot problem. To get the first problem in one sentence, let me ask you something. When 2 characters meet in a film, could that scene exist if you remove the romance? If neither of them were ever going to fall for each other, if that was just never on the table, would there be any reason for that scene to happen at all? For most meet cutes, the answer is no, and that's the problem. The meet cute was designed to solve a plot problem of a romantic story. 2 people need to be in the same room at one point in time, most likely in the first act of the movie, so that the rest of the events in their story can unfold. That leads to the classic clumsy situations. Someone trips, someone spills something, the world contorts itself into just the right shape, and the scene's only job is the plot. Get them in the room, move on. You can feel it when that's all a scene is doing. There's a faint sense of machinery behind it, of a writer needing something to happen rather than something actually happening. The Notebook's Ferris wheel scene is the perfect example of this. But put down your pitchforks and torches first, because yes, this scene is iconic and celebrated. But look at what's actually happening there. A man climbs onto the cart of a moving Ferris wheel from a girl who's already taken and just rejected him moments before. There, he hangs himself from the bar, releasing one hand, and tells a woman he's never spoken to that he'll let go unless she agrees to go on a date with him.
You're gonna kill yourself!
No, cut it out.
Well, you go out with me?
What? No!
Audiences love it. It's in every most romantic movie moments list you'll ever find. Which, by the way, if you do that nowadays, you'd probably get a restraining order. Underneath that scene, what is actually happening is a man manufacturing a crisis to force a woman's hand. Allie says yes because she's terrified he's going to fall. And the reason nobody clocks it as such is because the scene is so committed to its own urgency that you don't stop to ask where that urgency came from. It came from nowhere. Noah doesn't do this because of something we learned about him. Allie doesn't respond the way she does because of something we understand about her. The scene could be lifted out and dropped into any other film with any other 2 characters, and it would work exactly the same way. Mostly. Which means the whole scene exists for one purpose. Get them talking, and get them in the same story. That's the Ferris wheel's only job. It's a plot device with a view. And yes, again, it is a great scene. Now put that next to the way Fleabag and the priest meet.
The family are all together here for a...
He's at that family dinner because he's been hired to officiate a wedding. It's his job. That's why he's there. Fleabag is there because her father summoned the family, and she showed up because that's what you do. Neither of them is there for the other. When they end up outside on a smoke break together, it's because the dinner is unbearable and they both needed air, each for their own reasons.
Sure.
Even though their first time alone doesn't go that well.
Well, fuck you, then.
But the reason they were there in the first place changes everything. The meeting is a side effect of 2 people already living their lives. It has a reason to exist that has nothing to do with romance. And because of that, when something sparks between them, it feels like a thing that happened casually. The test is simple. Ask yourself, why are both of these people here right now? If the only honest answer is because the script needed them to meet, you're watching a plot point. And plot points, no matter how charming the actors, can feel quite forced. The coffee spill fails this test. The reaching for the same book fails this test. The Notebook Ferris wheel fails it spectacularly. All of them are built around a moment the story needed. Now, keep Fleabag in mind as we will be coming back to her for the 4th mistake, but before getting there, we need to understand 2 other specific mistakes that turn a great meet cute into a forced one. Think about the last love interest introduction that actually stuck with you. What were they doing? What did you learn about them? If you're struggling, that's kind of the point. Most love interests arrive at exactly the moment the protagonist needs them, not a scene before it. They have no life we've witnessed. They walk in, they're charming, they smile, and we're supposed to care. But caring requires context, and context requires time. You can't shortcut it with a quirky hat or a good line. La La Land does something almost deceptively simple with this. Before Mia and Sebastian share a single word, the film just shows you both of them, separately, living their own lives with no idea the other exists. We see Sebastian get fired. We watch him sit at that piano knowing he's been told not to play the song he's playing, and playing it anyway because he can't help himself. It costs him his job. Then he gets up, walks out, and shoves past someone in the doorway without looking at her.
I just heard you play, and I wanted to...
That someone is Mia. And we've already seen Mia before that, in her car, rehearsing audition lines out loud, already in her own story, not waiting to be discovered. Just grinding through another day in a city that's been mostly indifferent to her so far. So when Sebastian shoves past her on his way out, something happens that most meet-cutes never manage. You already know who both of these people are. You've seen what they're each carrying. His self-absorption and her exhaustion meet in a single gesture, and the scene contains everything the film is going to be about before either of them has said a word to the other. Now compare that to the standard forgettable version. The love interest walks in. We know nothing about them except that they're attractive. They say something slightly unexpected. The protagonist reacts, and you just know love is coming between them, without having really earned it besides superficial attractiveness. This is what the quote-unquote solo rule does. It makes both characters real before the story needs them to be. When you skip it, the love interest spends the rest of the film catching up. Every scene they're in, some part of your brain is quietly doing work the script should have done, trying to fill in details about a person who was never quite given to you. Now, before getting back to what else Fleabag does that is really interesting, we have to talk about the preview problem, and it's something that all of you have seen before. Think about when Harry met Sally. I'll give a quick recap for those of you who haven't seen it, or for those of you who, just like me, required a quick refresher. The movie spans 12 years. Harry and Sally meet as strangers sharing a car ride to New York, irritate each other, go their separate ways, keep accidentally running back into each other's lives, become friends, ruin the friendship by sleeping together, fall apart, and then, finally, after all of it, end up together. The whole film is basically one long argument about whether two people who are wrong for each other can become right for each other. That's the question the film spends 12 years trying to answer. Now, go back to the car where they first meet.
Why don't you tell me the story of your life?
Story of my life?
Harry and Sally are barely out of Chicago when Harry tells her that men and women can never really be friends because sex always gets in the way. He presents this as a fact that can't be argued with. Sally pushes back. Harry doubles down. Neither of them notices that they just had the conversation the entire film is going to be about. Sitting in a car, on a trip they'd both rather not be on, already slightly annoyed by each other. The meet cute is basically the whole movie compressed into a throwaway exchange on an interstate. His certainty about how desire works, her refusal to accept his framing, both of them arguing toward a conclusion neither of them is ready for. They spend 12 years and 100 scenes circling that exact disagreement, but it's right there in the first 10 minutes, dressed as small talk. Only when you finish the whole movie can you look back at this scene and figure out that it was foreshadowed from the start. 500 Days of Summer does it even more precisely. Tom is in the elevator listening to music, minding his own business. Summer hears the music leaking out and tells him she loves the Smiths, just making some small talk as she's new to the company.
Smiths? I love the Smiths.
Sorry?
I said I love the Smiths.
Tom decides right then when she walks out of the elevator, she is the one. Put down your pitchforks and torches yet again, because I know some of you are going to say he already decided that in the boardroom meeting the first time he saw her. But to me, this is their actual meet cute and introduction, not the boardroom scene. Now, if you've seen the entire film, which I'm sure all of you have, you know that Tom's love was never really about Summer. It was a projection, a story he told himself using her as the raw material. She spends the entire movie being a real person, and he spends it not quite being able to see that. The seed for that is planted in the elevator. Summer was making small talk. Tom experienced it as destiny. She heard a song she recognized. He decided she was the one. And that gap between what she meant and what he heard is every devastating scene that follows. Forgettable meet cutes only show you the upside. Two charming people being charming at each other, everything pointing forward, the future looking uncomplicated. The best ones give you both, the pull and the problem in the same beat. It means you're rooting for them and already quietly worried. And that combination is what pulls you into the movie because now you are invested. Which raises the question worth sitting with. If the problem is already visible in the first scene, why do we keep watching? It's because we don't know it yet. We make up a thesis in our minds and now have to keep watching to see if it plays out. Now, it's finally time to get back to Fleabag for something different. Everything I've described so far, the plot device, the solo rule, the foreshadowing, those are structural problems. This last one is different. It's harder to name and harder to fake a solution to. So, back to Fleabag. We all know what she always does when the world gets to be too much. She turns away, looks straight down the camera lens, breaks the fourth wall, and then turns back before anyone notices she was gone. She's been doing this the whole show. It's her escape hatch, the one place she can be honest in her life as we, the audience, don't ask anything of her like everybody else. Nobody has ever noticed. Until the priest does.
We lost a week.
What was that?
Nothing. Nothing. Stop being so judgy.
He stops mid-conversation and asks where she just went. Genuinely curious, just a casual, "Where did you go?" She doesn't know what to say. We don't know what to say. Nobody has ever noticed before. And that is what made Fleabag have one of the best meet cutes. Okay, it doesn't happen in their first meeting, but I couldn't find a better example for this. The moment the priest notices her fourth wall breaks, does more work than any amount of witty banter because it's specific and unrepeatable. It could only happen between these two people in this situation. The priest is paying attention, the kind that sees past the performance she's running for everyone, including us. And that's the thing she's been starving for without knowing it. And it's also the thing that will eventually destroy them. Because a man who sees her that clearly is a man she cannot hide from. The preview rule, remember? But what makes this stand out is the connection. Now think about the coffee spill. What does it reveal? Two people were in the same place. One of them is clumsy. They're both attractive enough to warrant a second glance. Nothing is known. That scene could be lifted out and dropped into any other film, with any other two characters, and work exactly the same way. That interchangeability is the tell. A meet cute that could belong to anyone belongs to no one. If you drop Harry and Sally in this situation, it wouldn't have worked. The truly broken love interest introductions are usually the most effortful. The elaborate setups, the clever coincidences, the well-choreographed slapstick, all of that effort goes into engineering the situation rather than revealing the people. And situations, however charming, can't give you the feeling of being genuinely seen. And that genuine connection is what separates good meet cutes from the great ones. But even a good meet cute has catastrophic consequences for a character if they don't follow 4 principles. Don't know what principles I mean? Click here to find out.